don't be late. Got an 8-second ride that just won't wait. My spurs are turning and my hat's on tight. If I hang on, girl, we'll be dancing tonight. You can tell by the way that I walk, I'm a little bow-legged, my mouth's full of jaw. Legs are shaky and my knees are weak. Dust me off, I'll try again next week. Rodeo is what I do. If I hang on tight and make a buck or two, it's what I do. Let's ride.
Good evening and welcome to the legendary Gold Coast Hotel and Casino and National Finals Tonight. Brought to you in part by Devil's Cut, Jim Beam, Red Stag, Coors, Pendleton, Boot Barn, Cooper Tires, Ram Rodeo, Justin Boots, Prefer, Golden Tiger Liniment, the National Cowboy Museum, Good Ride, Wrangler, J.W. Brooks Hats, Montana Silversmiths, Pepsi, and Boyd Gaming. National Finals tonight with 8-time world champion bull rider Donnie Gay, 8-time world champion cowboy Joe Beaver, and the men and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
Rodeo is what I do. If I hang on tight and make a
Wow, what a good-looking group, huh? Welcome. We are so glad to have you here to National Finals tonight. Night number 6, and a good-looking crowd out there this evening. Hi, Wayne. How you doing over there? Good crowd. How many of you were at the rodeo tonight? A lot of you? Yes. We are so glad you came here. This is our 6th season of National Finals tonight, and this is how it goes. 2 minutes. They said 2 minutes to showtime. Nobody was back there. Just me. Just me. But now we have people back there, and let's bring out the first gentleman. He's on a tirade already. Back there. He's upset about something. Have you settled down any? He's still upset. 8-time world champion bull rider Donnie Gay is in the house. Donnie, come on out here. Wow.
We got to... Hello. We got to talking about the judges back there.
He's already going. Now that vest I don't believe I've ever seen before.
It's another mother-in-law. I'm a good son-in-law.
You are, by golly.
Somebody asked me if that was me, and I said, well, hell no. He doesn't look as good.
No. That's a dandy right there.
Yeah.
Very
bull
fine.
Rider.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a bull rider.
Since your mother-in-law made it, it's beautiful. I like it very much.
Thank you. That goes a long way.
I'm with you. Let's bring out the other guy out here because he and Donnie were already into it back there about judges, as Donnie just mentioned. They're fired up this evening. This guy also is an 8-time world champion. Joe Beaver is here this evening. Would you welcome Joe tonight? Joseph.
Big 8, little 8.
We can't help it. We just know when they're wrong, and sometimes they don't know when they're wrong.
The judges, and thank goodness
they have
you
got
guys
to be
are here.
told, and that's our job.
This has been a night already. Joe calls me about 10 minutes beforehand. Do you want to tell him about your dinner this evening, how you about to set the whole place on fire?
There's a place called the Golden Steer that's been here since 1950, whatever, right? The Rat Pack, the Mafia. The first time I went there was with a man named Dean Schendel, and we sat in the mob room in the back. And I kind of know why now. I didn't know him then. But so we go tonight to eat dinner. I'm trying to be nice. I take my preacher. He's been with me since I've known him since I was 12 years old. I helped him get through seminary. I thought it was all strip joint money, but he really went to seminary school. He really did. He wasn't like us. So I take him to dinner tonight. Nice place. Take him to the Golden Steer. We sitting in this old leather booth, and Christmas decorations all on the wall. So my wife decides she's going to order Bananas Foster for dessert. It's a cute little dish.
A what?
Bananas Foster.
Bananas Foster.
Do a fire. Come on.
It's good.
Surely you've known that.
We don't have that in Mesquite.
Well, they got it at the Golden Steer, but they may take it off the menu because Jose comes out to cook this for us. And he's out there stirring and cooking and his little propane deal runs out of propane. And his flame just kind of, and I see him and I said, don't get a new one. That's all I said, because, new propane sometimes, well, he gets him a new one and he cranks her up, and when he pours that 150 proof in that Bananas Foster, it shot a flame from me to that cameraman, across my preacher, across the girl that works for me, across the booth, catches the booth on fire, catches my preacher on fire, catches the Christmas decorations on fire, and all I feel is the girl works for me. She's in the corner. She done crawled up behind my wife, run over the Christmas decorations, and she's headed out. And this preacher, the first thing he says, "Oh shit!" He went to whopping. I mean, but it was that serious. It was past the point of saying, I gotta remember what I say. And he's a fanning, and the table next to us has got 20 people on it, and they're throwing water on the. And Jose ain't never moved from the Bananas Foster dish. He just looking. Everything's burning up, and he just watching. I said, "Turn that thing off, boy! Shit, we got a fire here." So, in other words, we almost took out a Las Vegas landmark tonight before he come to the show.
Hey, listen, can you bring him down to Mesquite?
We need to cook a few Bananas Fosters in there, don't we?
I guarantee you that sounds fun.
Yeah. So anyway, my preacher was coming to the show, but he looks like a roasted marshmallow. So he went back to the hotel. It was oh shit. That's what it was.
He just said he's at the hotel. He's at the strip joint. That was all set up by him this evening. My, what a way to kick it off. Hey, we do want to tell you this evening.
Is this any of this on the script?
No, not a thing. Yeah.
And the whole time Dan Miller's calling me, and I'm trying to answer him because I know it's important, but I'm a little bit worried about the fire. And he said, "Is Brittany going to come?" And I said, "No, but we're on fire. I'll call you back."
Oh, my word.
But don't you love Las Vegas?
I love Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I love it. Anytime during the course of the evening, if you would like to participate in the show, not by setting something on fire, but if you got a question that you would like to ask anybody on the stage, let me give you the phone number. You can text the question to us, and the phone number is right over here, 702-582-5638.
Took all the way to Tuesday to get you to do that. All right.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Looked pretty darn good. And that's if you want to send. And what I want to tell you as well, the live audience that's here with us, we are going out over YouTube and television. When we say goodbye to them at the end of the show, we need you to stay right with us because we have lots of prizes to give away. Jeans, Wrangler jeans, Justin boots. We have, oh my, who's, Little Big Town.
I signed that.
Did you sign that?
Well, no, I haven't yet, but I think I'm going to.
Well, I just saw Little Big, and I thought that was you. But that's Little Big Town back there. That's a different. We've got that guitar that's been. That was from your days.
Still not on the script.
That was from his days in adult movies, Little Big. When we.
Ow.
Good thing my preacher didn't go.
Oh, my gosh.
Where's he sitting?
It's okay. He was with us, me and Roy Cooper, in '88. He's got enough sermons to preach his whole life.
Oh, my gosh. We've already got a question that's come in here, and it's pretty mediocre after all of that. It says, how do they pick the order of the participants? Each round it changes, so let us know.
These guys got it figured out in the rough stock event. The timed event's a bunch of idiots. Because they used to do it the same way. If you won the most money, you went last. And that's what's supposed to happen. But about 12 years ago out here, there was a group of guys that didn't win enough every year. I mean, it just happens. They had to go first all the time. So they got together and got it voted in the time event of this rotation system.
The reason it's screwed up is one word. Lawyers.
That's exactly right.
Really?
Yeah.
Lawyers and insurance companies have ruined more than the rodeo business. Trust me.
We used to be just like the Bronco and the high money guy goes last in your event.
You're last.
It gives you an advantage, but you've earned it. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Period. The end. I mean, if they just hire, but they don't ever ask us. I don't know why.
They don't even have to ask us. We tell them, but they don't listen.
If you were at the rodeo tonight, you missed these guys on television, and GAC, we're going on. Matter of fact, 2 nights ago, we had the commissioner here telling us what great ratings this rodeo is doing on GAC, and they've extended it now for another year, and that's all very positive news. But in case you were, yes, we're so happy about that. That's good for everybody. Really good for everybody to be on a lifestyle network, and we've been preaching that a long time.
Yeah, we're not getting preempted at all. We got plenty of time to showcase our lifestyle. That's exactly right.
Yep. Much better than ESPN. So if you were at the rodeo this evening, you didn't see the telecast. Donnie and Joe were doing that live going out across GAC. But we have put together a highlight package of this round number 6. Great rodeo this evening. So let's take a look at the highlights first. These guys will call it for you live. Donnie, as always, let's start with the bareback riding.
All right. Well, if you weren't at the rodeo, bareback riding, let's go down to Louisiana. Yeah, New Orleans. That's Win Ratliff is riding really good. It's his first NFR, but you wouldn't think it. This guy's done this more than one go-round. Starburst, the bucking horse, what a nice ride. I want you to watch body position. He's right straight down that horse's back. Both spurs coming back to the rigging every jump. He's underneath his rigging. He's getting... Gosh mighty, the bareback riding's the toughest event physically in the business. What a great ride.
In the steer wrestling tonight, Les Shepperson goes out there, makes just what looks like a little easy, nice run. The kick at the end makes him 4 flat. He catches the steer about a third of the way. Watch, he doesn't catch him very fast. Horse gives him a good go right here. That's a horse of the year, matter of fact, in steer wrestling. But right about here, when he pulls his steer's head around, watch how he hits him right there on that nose and gets the follow through. That makes the steer go down the arena, kick faster, all 4 feet. Then we get Gabe Ledoux. He runs this steer out of sight, but he's strong and he's got a lot of momentum. When a steer pulls you down the arena as you throw him, that's from the momentum of catching him off your horse. Watch when he hits the ground. Left leg bent, right leg straight. Momentum carrying him down the arena. You hook the nose, pulls you down. You can't lose him. Throws him in 4 flat.
I've seen more picture-perfect steer wrestles this year than I've
Bigger,
seen
stronger
in 10
steers,
years.
Makes him do it. Team roving tonight. Kobe Lovell, we've been waiting on this all week. Russell Cordoza, that kid Heelan. Both of those could give an all-around contention race anytime. They both rope calves good. But here's the difference. Kobe Lovell comes over the chute and he gets it on him. Now watch, Russell Cordoza knows he don't have a lot of room in the corner, so right here he stops his horse and kind of floats it and lets that steer hop away as he ropes him. So as soon as he dallies, bam, ropes are tight, horses are phased, celebration comes, 3.5.
Saddle bronc riding classic event of rodeo. Wasn't too classic last night. Rode 3 out of 15, but they brought the sweet potatoes in here tonight to let the guys show you what they can do and check the bronc rider. That's why they call it classic. That mare gave him every opportunity to show off. Taos Muncie, really, he's a champion of the world, and this is the reason why. Watch the leg extension, handling the rein. It's supposed to look easy, and it was for him tonight, as was Wade Sundell. Here's a guy that's still in the mix for the world championship. He's got a bad knee. He's having to gut it out and going to have to the rest of the week. Makes a very, very good ride. 2 84-point scores. Good bronc riding tonight. That's what they like to do. But watch the timing. You got to lift on the rein. You can't get those swells of the saddle jerked away from you. Leg extension. But this guy right here,
he's crippled.
They told me that he's cracking out his bull rope next year. Going to be an all-around threat.
That's what we want. Here's another one. Clint Robinson, he needs to get his heel rope out and his bulldogging horse ready. Now, he hurt his knee 2 nights ago. He wears the right brace sometimes. Took it off last couple years. Kev comes around, hits him, hurts his knee. So what does he do? Puts his brace on, blocks it out, ties one at 7.2, and gets a go-around win. That's 2 rounds in a row, I think, for Clint. He was the first roper out tonight. If you're going to be first, you got to set the pace, and he did it. There's another youngster. I hope he's an all-around race next year.
Well, I think so, and you just
Here's
watch.
Ryan Jarrett. Look here, same thing. He's going to get it be 7-2 tonight. He strings from the belt, Donnie. How many guys you seen string from the belt?
I haven't seen that in years.
I'm
but
telling you.
All-around champ of the world. This guy, Georgia, Southeast, you wouldn't think. But, boy, he takes it to him tonight.
Came to my roping school when he was about 14 years old. And I said then, you see 1 out of 50 that's got it, and he got it.
All right, barrel racing, Joe. How about Carly Pierce? She has had all kinds of trouble this week. New Boyd Gaming ambassador, and she's doing great. One of the things that I just found, she's originally from Freedom, Oklahoma, headquarters, Frontier Rodeo. I am pulling for Carly Pierce. She makes a great run tonight, 13:51.
This horse has done this before in this arena with another rider. So, it's not like he hadn't been here and knows how to do it. This horse is good. If he gets by the barrels in this arena, he's going to outrun you. But he's bad to hit barrels. Tonight he didn't. She runs 13.5. It's getting faster and faster every night.
Getting faster every night. And the bull riding, I thought they'd ride 8, maybe 10 bulls tonight. Shows what I know. They rode 4, but the 4 were good ones. Segway, Frontier Rodeo Bull, Feeling So Fly. Bo Schroeder, did I tell you he was from Texas? Just rock and roll. This bull had him in, had him out. really good bull ride. And here's a kid that has moved up to number 3 in the world. Nobody thought he had a chance for the world title, but he does. Now, J.W. Harris, Cody Teal, they're the odds-on favorites, but don't you count out this Texas.
Can't count nobody out the rides like that right there.
I guarantee that bull buck.
Sat right here the other night
ride
on our stage and said, I'm just having fun and want to ride bulls.
Glad
That's
to be
what
here.
happens when you're having fun and want to ride bulls.
You bet.
Donnie and Joe doing it live for you. Very nice, guys. Very nice. Yeah.
One of these days, they'll let us do the whole thing.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Excellent job. Sometimes we try to put together, we call it a rec reel for you during the course of the rodeo, and some nights, luckily, there's no things that happen, but
nobody wants to see anybody get hurt and have a wreck, but if they're going to have a wreck, you don't want to miss it.
You want to be there. And so we have some things, strangely enough, starting off with the steer wrestling tonight, Joe.
You got to work at it to have a wreck in steer wrestling, don't you?
Donnie says the hardest thing in the world is to look cool when you're upside down underneath the one. Watch Case Martin right here. He catches the steer at the back end. Now, that you can't look cool when you're split-legged to the roof, and the steer's got his head. You just don't look cool.
Producer to Brokeback Mountain was getting excited.
This all started. Wait, look right here. See, when he catches the steer, look at his feet. They stick in the ground, and he goes tea kettle over ass kettle.
Look at this.
Look.
Come on.
Hey, most people want to turn loose right there. Look at that. Stop it right there. Stop. Oh, now that's a handstand of different meaning right there. Look at that. Now, if he loses contact with this steer, he gets a no time. So he's doing all he can to hang on to him, to throw him down to get a time. Sherry Servey, this wasn't nothing nice tonight. Watch this. Goes to the second barrel, starts around it right there. Butt goes out from under him first, then the front end, slams her in the ground, then jumps up. Luckily, didn't get hung on the barrel. But I'm going to tell you, I broke my leg in May, and I didn't fall that hard. That could have been disastrous for the horse and rider. Hopefully it wasn't, but watch right here. See his butt go first? His butt goes out from under him first, then his front end follows.
No chance to get away.
None. I'm just glad her head didn't hit that barrel right there. See how close it was? Now, she's trying to pull him down to make it a little easier to get away from him. No feet. You don't want your feet hung in the stirrups. This horse gets up and gets away. Luckily, didn't step on her, but it probably cost her a gold bucket.
Bull riding Cody Whitney, kid from Oklahoma. You've seen him ride before many times. Boom. You hit the chute gate. Okay. Whoa. Let's do this again. I love this. I mean, he gets out. You should see this kid in the locker room. Boom. Okay. Yeah. Bang my head. Now, he's totally airborne, going to come back down, and this bull says, oh, come here, Cody, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Right there. You know, this is bull riding, and our bullfighters are doing all they can do. Doesn't step on him, which is the only way that you really are going to get hurt, and comes out of it real good. Clayton Savage, he's sitting right over here, somewhere in here, having, a little toddy and a little relaxed time and everything, because, sometimes you want to watch the replay, sometimes you don't want to watch the replay. Going down in the well, this bull just doesn't pick him up. He's trying a little bit too hard, and that is so easy to do. Our bullfighters, they have done a marvelous job. Kelly Jennings, Daryl Diefenbach, and Dusty Tuckness. I'm telling you, the bullfighting here this year has been outstanding.
Great job, you guys. Yeah, very good. The good news is everybody's just fine. And Clayton Savage is right over there from Wyoming. Wave to us, Clayton. It's good to have you here with us tonight. I'll call you when we get you back out here and talk to us, too. It's good to have you here. Yeah, thanks for being. Now, guys, this question came in, and this is news to me. So, Joe, do you want to talk about this? Here's the question. What are your thoughts about the proposed drug testing for barrel racing horses? What's the delay in the implementation of that?
I think the first thing of this is,
lawyers.
They give hundreds of thousands of dollars for these horses. The barrel racing is the hardest event in rodeo to win at on a consistent basis because of the ground, the arena size, blah, 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 blah. They can't fly. They have to drive and take their horse to every rodeo because they will not mount each other up. They're not near that friendly. The women aren't. So if they're going and they're taking that good a care of them and they care that much about them, leave them alone. They're not going to give them anything that's going to hurt them. There's days when you wake up that 2 or 3 Advil don't do the trick, and maybe a pain pill does. And there's days when you can take 2 Advil and be fine, and some days you don't need anything. But if they care that much and give that much for them, leave them alone. We got enough problems, you know?
Okay, well said.
And then you have to worry about who would be administering the drug testing, and lawyers.
Lawyers.
Little common sense goes a long way.
I love this show. Thank you, Joe. Good job on that. Let's go ahead and bring out the first guest that we have here this evening. This is the first time this guy's ever been with us. First time he's been to the National Finals
I think
Rodeo.
he's a little more nervous right now than he was when he nodded his head in the bull riding tonight.
You know what he told me back there? He said, hey, it's good to see you again. I met you when I was about 8 or 9 years old in Hibbing, Minnesota, and I was like, woo, I've heard Donnie hear them stories, but now I'm getting old too.
Would you welcome this young man from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota? Brett Stahl is here this evening. Hello,
right,
young man.
Come on in here, Brett. All right.
Come right over.
Wait a minute. Turn around. Turn around. You ever seen a skinnier butt? A little bitty thing.
I'm a little worried about you for noticing. Anyway,
Hey, I'm envious. What can I tell you?
Brett, I've got to tell you.
I took every damn pill in the world. It's still wide.
Well, stand up and show?
No.
All right. The first time Donnie and I find out about you, we're doing the Extreme Bulls last year, Donnie, from Rapid City.
Yeah.
Remember? And this young man comes out of nowhere. And matter of fact, we're sitting there, Brett, and saying, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And he wins the deal. And Donnie said, Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, 100 times. He loves that.
I'm sitting there and I'm going, where in the hell is Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, with a bull rider's name attached to it? You know, the only guys from Minnesota that ever made the NFR were the Wiederholt brothers. Yep. Charlie and his brother Paul. And good bull riders, you know them. And it's just kind of interesting. How did you get started in this?
Where is Detroit Lakes? Tell us.
Go ahead and tell. Yeah.
It's way up north.
What's it close to?
I'm west of Fargo, or east of Fargo, North Dakota, about 45 minutes.
That is way up north.
And so how did you get started riding bulls?
I mean, like, did they change the time zone there? You're close. I mean, because that's got to be up by Thief River Falls and...
Just south of Thief River, about 100 miles.
Oh, heck, really close to Texas.
So how did you get started? And Brett, hold that microphone right up there close.
I got started when I was a little kid. There was 2 guys, Sam Nordic and Jake Nordic. They Little Britches Rodeo, and their family was in Rodeo, and they live a mile down the road from us. And they got a little ranch, and we have a ranch too, and my parents were friends with theirs and started hanging out, and they got me into it at a young age and taught me about everything I needed to know, give me my start. So.
And if you called home today, you know they got about a foot of snow yesterday, rolled right through there. Foot and a half of snow has gone through there. So you started out this year in great fashion by winning the Extreme Bulls there.
I will say he rode a bull called Crystal Springs Peach to win that bull riding. And which go-round did you have him already here?
Third, I think.
No, he had you here, I think.
Yeah,
payback's heck. Yeah.
I want to take a look at you from round number 5. A good round for you, and it was 83 points on this. Donnie and Brett can talk about this, guys. If you've got it back there, let's take a look at him at work. Here you go, Brett.
What are you feeling right here whenever you nod for the gate?
Oh, he was just, I don't know, I could hear Clayton yelling the whole time right through there, go ahead, but I don't think, I lifted a leg a little bit there right before he jumped out of it there, and I thought he was going the other way when he did.
Really
Right
nice
there.
bull ride, and what I like is the effort that you put out, whether you win, lose, or draw, you make your best effort. I mean, is that something that comes natural to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been taught you don't quit till your head hits the ground. I mean, that is kind of just sitting in stone in my head.
That's a good rule. It's a little hard on your body occasionally, but skinny as you are, you can't hit very hard. That's
No.
an advantage.
But you sure fly a long ways.
We have tonight's effort as well, Brett. We're going to get that racked up for you back there, and let's see what happened tonight.
Yeah.
I chose that
now
carefully.
this is the only mess up that I thought you had this week. Is that you? Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, touched him with his free hand.
I thought you were going to ride this bull all day. Talk about this.
So did I. I got way too comfortable there, and he just, I don't know, I crossed over there, and I should have shoved my hips. And
way too comfortable?
Yeah, I felt comfortable. I felt like this was too easy when he turned the corner and come around there.
And you know, and what that really does in all seriousness, a bull jumps out of the chute and you're expecting something, and gosh, it's just kind of easy. And what happens, you get to thinking, and just the minute you have that thought that this is way too easy or something like that, I don't know. I never thought that, I don't think, but
trust me, ropers never think that shit looks easy.
Yeah.
That's hard.
You know, how is it? I mean, your expectation bar had to be, you know, up, down, sideways. You know, I mean, from Detroit, Lakes, Minnesota, you won Rapid City and did pretty good, and then you had kind of a cold spell, and we kind of didn't know where you were. And tell us about your year and getting here and then walking out on that stage before the rodeo started to get your number.
It was a long, 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 hard trail. I don't know, if you travel with Clayton Savage, you know what miles are. I don't know. I know that.
Well, I think it's good. Clayton, you know, stand up just where y'all can see Clayton Savage. I mean, he's riding, you know, they're traveling together. And, I mean, he's even bringing him to the National Finals Tonight show just to make sure he knew how to get in and they didn't check his ID, you know, so.
He takes me under his wing.
And that's a good thing, and I think you were very, very smart to team up with Clayton, because Clayton, in my estimation, is one tough bull rider. He's a cowboy. He doesn't worry about, you know, who thinks what. Blazes his own trail, and that's a good trail to be on.
That's right, and I got a lot of respect for him, and I owe a lot to him this year. I really do.
And we've got 4 more rounds to go for you. This whole experience, or just coming here and being in this building and all, can you just give us your thoughts on that before we?
It is unreal. I mean, yeah. When you're from a small town in Minnesota and you end up something like this and, I mean, reach a goal and dream that you've always dreamed about, you can't even put it into words.
He's got a bull from Frontier Rodeo, the company that I'm involved with, and J.W. Harris won second in a go-round on him already. Really a good draw. Have you seen the bull? Have you ever seen Cowboy Compactor? That's what you have tomorrow night.
I think I've seen him, but, I mean, you see so many bulls in a year, it's hard to remember, you know. You just go on, nod your head, take what you got.
He's either going to spin left or he's going to look to the left and get too close to the fence and then spin to the right. Should be no problem for you.
We've been talking all this week about the young people in this rodeo business, and Brett Stahl has just come on.
This is the guy. This is the kind of guy that makes rodeo exciting for guys like Joe and I. Yep. You know, we've had a lot of good fortune in the business, but part of the good fortune is being able to share a little bit of insight whenever it is that you want it, and to watch somebody, you know, pick up the torch and just keep it moving.
And to hear him say, you know, when you ask that a long question about how, because we were thinking about answer, and he said, it's just unbelievable from a little town. It is. And if you ever don't feel that the first go around here, then you've lost your fire. And if you lose your fire, you'll get put out. But this kid here, he can just feel the energy just being around him.
I agree.
He's just so glad to be here and craving more bulls. And, you know, that's what kept that man coming back time after time, where a lot of guys make it in the bull riding once or twice, you never see him again. That's the difference.
And I'm hoping that next year when you come back, that shirt will just be covered with patches.
Yeah, there'll be, you know, and if it's not, there's some really stupid VIPs in the world. Yeah. You know, because this kid right here is not only a really good bull rider, he's a really good boy.
Would you pay him off here? Brett Stahl,
Thank you.
Detroit Lakes, Minnesota.
Go have fun. It starts same time, 6:45.
We're going to do one quick question here, and this one, and then our other guest has shown up back here, Joe, so we're ready to do on with that. This question has come in: what is a PRCA card, and how do you get one? Let's start with the basics.
Well, you can't just get a PRCA card.
Right.
You can get a PRCA permit, which will allow you to compete at PRCA rodeos that accept permits, and there's card holders entered, and you have to win $1,000 at those rodeos to be able to be eligible to pay $500 for your PRCA card, and it gets more expensive from there.
And once you have it, Donnie, you and I are both in the Screen Actors Guild, so is Joe, I imagine. Do you have to, once you have your card in the PRCA, it's yours? You don't have to earn that each year?
You don't have to earn it back, but you do have to pay for it each year. You know, we have the administration and the judges to pay for, so.
And lawyers.
That's what we touched on last night about when Donnie and I were rodeoing. Now these guys, we could buy a Canadian card, but we couldn't go to the Canadian finals. And now the guys that are rodeoing could buy a Canadian card and go to the Canadian finals, which I think should have been done.
And bull riders can go to PRCA rodeos. You can buy a PBR card. You can buy a CBR card. You know, I mean, you can buy all these cards to death. And if you can ride, you can win $1 jillion. But, you know, if you start splitting your time, I don't care how good you are, you're not going to be real successful.
Donnie, and introduce Wayne right over here. Wayne Brooks is sitting right
Wayne
over
Brooks,
here.
One of our premier announcers in the PRCA, a Boyd Gaming ambassador, and he is a great guy. Y'all give him a round of applause. He's been working for Boyd, and he's been helping people understand what's happening in the arena for a long time, and a good friend of mine.
And let's move along now. I'm so glad this guy came out tonight. When Joe and I talked about him earlier in the week, I said, please, any night that he can come, let's get him out here. 8-time world champion here, 8-time world champion here, 8-time world champion here. He's in the house. Fred Whitfield, would you welcome him here to
Freddie.
National Finals tonight?
Good to see you.
Yes, Fred Whitfield is here. And I just told him, it's good to see you, Fred. We have missed you out here. By golly, thank you for coming out to see us tonight.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. 8-time world champion, 20th time to the National Finals rodeo. And if I just kept reading those things, it'd last forever. So what I want to start with you, 2 years ago you sat here with us, and you said, I'm looking for a horse. You remember that? And Fred said, I'm going to find a horse. Somebody out there be ready. Did you find the horse you were looking for?
No, actually, not really. You know, I'm riding the same mare that I rode here in 2010. I started out on Sweetness earlier this week, and I ran a couple calves on him. Didn't really work out, and I got back on my mare. And, you know, I placed in third round, fourth round. One of those rounds I won second in. And then tonight, I had a calf that tough tied an 8 flat, and she didn't leave very much, and then I sat there after a few things went wrong tonight for some guys, and I thought, man, just don't blow it, you know, and I let that calf take a long step, and I about got outrun.
What I want to, you know, we talked with Walt Woodard about this. Fred, from your standpoint, when you weren't here last year, and none of us are kids anymore, and I am the proudest of you, maybe of this one, coming back for this National Finals rodeo to work to get here. Can you put that into words for us?
The thing about it is we sat here on this stage. I don't think I came here last year. But anyway, when you come out here after competing for so many consecutive years in a row, and 07 was the first time I missed the National Finals, and I mean, in my mind, I've always been a winner, and it eats at me when I got to come out here and sit in the stands and watch. And Joe and I talked a little bit about it after the finals were over, and I said, hell, I might go another year, just see what happens, and managed to have a pretty decent winter, and then didn't win much in the spring, and summer came around, and I was in the top 5 of the world all year long, and everything was rolling pretty good, and right after Cheyenne, I didn't win much, and I went home, and hell, I barely made the finals this year, which is kind of my own fault, you know. Things were just going bad, and I just had enough.
And actually, when we talked about it, though, we didn't think they was going to win that much at the bottom.
Well, yeah.
You know, I mean, Fred when he come home after Cheyenne, you still was in the top 7 or 8,
yeah,
weren't you?
I was sitting right about 8.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the phone. I said, hell, they're not going to win that much at the bottom because, you know, Donnie, usually at the end of the year, it's hard for the bottom guys to do all the winning.
The bottom guys usually have the most trouble.
Yeah, and they just came from nowhere is what they did.
Well, with all of the different, the different, I call them different rules, but the different setup, you know, Puyallup and going to Omaha, you know, there's such big, you know, jackpots, and I mean, like you could be in the top 24 but you didn't qualify for the tour and this and that, and you know, it gets hard for me to read.
It's funny that you name those 2 rodeos. Between Pendleton, Puyallup, Omaha, There's 4 guys win over $60,000 roping calves at those 3 rodeos.
Now, you think that's good. That was good for those 4 guys. But for the business and the sanctity of the top 15 coming to the national finals, the World Series of Rodeo, I got, a hair bit of problem because in the PRCA, when you buy that card, whenever we were talking about buying a permit, filling a permit, getting your card, and it's yours, you pay your $500 a year, whether you're the world champion or whether you only enter 2 rodeos a year. It's your choice because you're your own boss. And I think if you got a card, and the rodeo is sanctioned by the organization that sold you the card, you really, other than the NFR, which needs the top 15 money winners, I think you ought to be able to go to all of them.
Can I add something to that?
Certainly.
The thing about it is when they started that, Houston was probably the first rodeo that did it, and it was, 97? 96 or 7. And all the top guys were for that as long as it was going to increase over the years.
But it didn't.
Houston's still adding the same amount of money. They take the best 50 guys in the
It's
world.
a business for them, too. And
Hey, if you have a golf tournament and you want Phil and you just name the top 20 guys in the world, it costs you about $10 million for that particular purse. Say the Houston Shell Open, okay? Well, we get the best guys in the world at some of them rodeos, and they had 20,000 an event.
Same as they
Hey,
did
let's
10
go.
years ago.
Same as that.
Hey,
I mean, they were almost there at the, when I couldn't hardly crawl up the chutes anymore,
The problem is, guys, if they put up the money, the committee, they talk about it, and I'm not just picking on anybody. This is just the facts, bottom line facts. Cody Old, Joe Beaver, Fred Whitfield, Trevor Brazile, we're going to nail ice nails on our horse, plastic shoes. We're going to run them across the pavement to win $5,000 go-around, and it's ludicrous.
And we have to do it because the pots aren't as big as they should be at all places. I've said it before. We went through this, remember, 3 or 4 years ago at the big rodeos, and we were trying to get our purses up. And I said, hey, I'm not trying to get into the stock contractors' money. I'm not trying to get in the committee guys' money. Put $1 more on the ticket and give it to us. They were selling 50, 60,000 tickets.
We don't know. We don't want the whole pie. We just want our fair share.
Well, and it's too bad that the commissioner was on, I think, 3 nights ago, and it would be nice for him to be able to hear, us just out here being candid and not solicited, and just might not change anything, but a new way, something else for the administration to think about, because everybody's not the same in the business. But we have a really hard time because we're not the NFL. That's a league. We're all individuals, and collectively we make a pretty big splash. Yep. But individually we're getting our tails kicked.
I agree. 110%.
Now, let's go back to him making it this year, because this has got to be, people don't know this, and I've been saying it every night on TV. Because he's not the kind that says it and all that. About 8 weeks ago?
Exactly 7 weeks ago, Joe.
See, I said 6 the first night we wrote. I called.
He's older.
I called to check on him. We talk. I mean, we're friends. We've been, through the trenches for 25 years together. And I'd heard that he was going to the hospital. And I hadn't heard it, from him. So I said, I don't know. So I called him. He don't answer. So I text him. And he gets a text back, I'm on the way to the hospital. I'll call you later. So I talked to you. I think you're still in recovery, wasn't you? You was loopy, kind of.
Well, it was a day later.
He just got home. And this guy they did surgery 7 weeks ago, and he's tying Kez in 8 seconds at the national finals. And you don't do that if you're a league or if you're a team, but being an individual, that's what you do. If you get operated on which side this time?
Left side.
Yeah, this side this time, that side before. You're going to get operated on 7 weeks come the national finals and give all these young guys the head start anyway. And when he went 4th in an average place in 2 rounds, the guys like this, they don't make them every day anymore, people. He's talking about this is going to be his last finals. Y'all better take a good look.
You take a good look at this.
Because they don't make them every day.
And I got to tell you, you got to tell me what rodeo. My brother Jim, my younger brother, we had a set of calves that need to be tied down. Where was that? Just this year?
Fort Worth.
It's Fort Worth, Texas.
Fort Worth,
okay.
Texas.
Whenever you get a big set, how many are there? There are
110. They actually brought 125 from the feedlot out at Lubbock, Texas.
125 calves. They got to be tied down for the Fort Worth Fat Stock Show and Rodeo. And so the stock contractors, they have to set it up with the calf roping director, the PRCA, and then the calf roping director is supposed to call a number of guys that are entered at the rodeo, and they're going to come and they're going to tie these calves down. So if you've ever tied calves down, I mean, like, I challenge you, if you never have, you tie 5, you're going to need oxygen if you're not a tie-down calf roper. I've done this. It's really hard. How many showed up besides you?
First of all, there was about 30 head of those calves that weighed over 400 pounds. And we just went through there and cut all them off. I said, hey, I don't want no part of a 400-pound calf.
Fred and I, my dad, we've argued with these guys occasionally, but he helped them sort the calves. How many other calf ropers?
Well, first of all, y'all hear it every night that I'm 45 years old. When I was 25, I'd have tied them all by myself. Okay.
You wasn't 25 when we tied 47 head at Cody, Wyoming one morning before the slack.
Yeah.
He and I, 9 guys are on the list to be there to help us tie. 9 guys. We see 3 of them in the parking lot, and we have flown from St. Paul the night before. And me and Fred, and we had a driver that held the rope, tied 47 headed calves. And 3 of them little young smart sat on the fence. And when we got about halfway through, Fred said, y'all going to wish y'all tied them because we'll be in December tying them and y'all won't be there. They wasn't here.
So anyway, back to our Fort Worth story. I think 8 of us tied them.
110 calves.
No, we tied 95. And we ended up cutting a few more of them off. So, and I think we ended up using about 80 of them was what we could use. And the next morning, them guys showed up. And let me tell you what, you ain't never heard of much whining, sissies in your life. I said, this is calf roping. It's what it's all about. You need a horse. You need athleticism, ability, all of it. Let's get it.
If you're going to get a check. Yeah, he got a check. Yeah, but, my younger brother, he's sitting there going, he doesn't, talk 1/2 as much as I do. But he's going, man, he said, I couldn't believe Fred did that. He said, I didn't think we were going to get the calves tied. My dad was just, going off on him. They didn't have the guys that were on the list. There's supposed to have been about 25 of them there. But they tied those calves down, and I just thought I'd let you know that you went way up on the list on Jim Gay's card.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Hey, okay.
Whether it does or not, but I'm telling you that he's bragging on you, seriously.
Honestly, it does.
Now, I said every night on TV, you look like you get a little stronger and feel a little better, a little more confident every night in your surgery. I, honest to goodness, night before last, thought that's as good as you could look. Do you feel better than when you started?
I was a little stiff when I first got out here, but, I only got to rope for about a week and a half.
It wasn't a week and a half.
Well,
5 days.
1 week.
5 days you called me. You were
5 days I started roping, and this little fancy doctor I went to, and I tried to get Tandy to do it, and things just didn't line up. And when they diagnosed me and told me what it was, and I thought, well, man, I've got 7 weeks to the day before the first perf. And my wife and I decided that the doctor we was talking to, he could do the surgery the next day. And the procedure is cervical laminectomy, where they go in and do stuff on your spine. And so I had it done, and I was pretty optimistic and just didn't do much the first few days, and I was like in so much stinking pain. And so I was taking these pain meds and stuff, and after about a week I just got off of them and started moving around a little bit, and you couldn't pick nothing up at all. Just don't do nothing. And so I moped around there, and then about 2 weeks went by. I started walking quite a bit, and he told me, he said, you can walk as much as you want, and I'd walk about 2 miles a day. So then I started riding a little bit, and the doctor didn't know nothing about all this. This is Fred Whitfield just doing what he thinks right,
Dr. Fred.
So 5 weeks after the surgery, I go back to the doctor, and I said, so what do you think? And he gets my arms out, and he does all these procedures, and he pulls it down. He said, you're starting to look pretty good, but he said there's still a significant weakness there. And he said, there's a 50% chance that you could re-herniate that disc. So I said, okay. And I left that doctor's office, and I'm telling you what, I've never been as mad at one human being in my life. Because I thought, you know what? And I got all these guys calling me, and I know they're just thinking, well, hey, Sloan's going to get the rope at the finals this year because Fred can't go. I said, yeah.
Wait a minute. The next day, he goes to Sale Barn and buys him some calves and calls me and says, I'm going to start stepping across and tying them. That's not flanking them, but that's still tying them. And he said, I might give him a little ace. Yeah, give him a lot because you don't want this calf moving around. This doctor's done told you need 4 more weeks at least. And the next day, he steps across calves and ties them.
He said it'll be December the 11th before I can release you. I said, okay, there's a 50% chance you won't do the second surgery.
It's December the 11th today. I just wanted to verify that.
And I told him, too, when he told me that. I said, man, you think I'd call out there and tell him to wait for me till the 11th? The show's going to go on, bro. So, I mean, I said, I'm not one of them freaks that's going to try to sue you or nothing. I mean, I just need... I need something positive to go with here. And he was having none of it. And before, 7 weeks, hell, you'll be good. And let's go ahead. Let me give you $22,000 while we're at it. You go ahead and do this surgery, and I'll be ready. It was a bunch of BS. Really.
Let's take a look at Fred at work here. And this is from round number 2. And it's an 8-second tie. Should be coming right down there. Fred, you can talk about it.
I thought I got a decent start there and had to reach a little bit, and that calf really went to the right. The best thing I done the whole run right there was flank that calf in time.
Yeah, flank like you didn't hurt either. Watch your left arm. See, that's when he had the work done. See the front feet of the calf? They never touched the ground again, so that means he was getting some confidence, and he's getting stronger right there and feeling good. The big thing out there, too, I thought you'd done a good job. Tonight, it salvaged it. You've got to catch him before you can do anything. And see that calf comes to right and he ropes him really sharp. Right there, just a little pull when he gets to him, and he's 7-7. But, if you make that run 10 times, they're going to pay you a lot of money.
Yeah. I cost myself the deal tonight. I still had a chance to probably win the average, and it's not over yet. But I needed to at least tie that calf in 8, 2 or 3 to kind of keep the pressure on the guys that are ahead of me. And, they reverse the order, so if you don't win very much from here on out, you're going to be at the top of the heat, and then those guys got to come and get you at the end. There's still a lot of roping left,
Let's look at tonight's, Fred, because this was a running calf that you had tonight.
God, I was a mile late.
Here's the deal. When you run them that far the back end, people don't understand. The calves start slowing up because they see the bucking chutes coming. So when you rope them and they're already slowing up, as soon as they feel the tension on the rope from the horse, it just turns them and pulls them like heading a steer. And they just take off running. Watch this. Yeah, you were late.
I needed to get my slack to the outside to bring that
calf But you couldn't because right here when you roped him, he's making a half circle coming back. So see the tension on the horse when she pulls, she turns the calf and just actually leads him over the top of you if you don't get him blocked off. And then your momentum is down right there. It's hard to pick it back up. I mean, it's hard to time fast the back end.
I never dreamed that calf would run that fast. Tough Cooper tied her in 8 flat in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I actually said you'd win 3rd or better because 7-8 was winning 3rd, and I thought you'd tire him faster.
That calf jumped out there and didn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
She really did.
I've seen you rope every year you've been here, and watching you. You've went out and you've kicked their tail a time or two. Like 8 or 9 times, and made everybody like it. You had something that you felt like you wanted to prove. When you back in the box now after 20 trips to the NFR, are you still having fun? Or are you gritting your teeth a little harder than you want to?
You know what? If you qualify for the national finals and you can't get pumped up to come out here and rope. And give it your all, then stay home.
Yeah, somebody asked me, they said, well, what was the last time you went to the NFR? And I said, well, first year it came out here in 1985. And had it not moved out here, I would have started doing the television thing and not even rodeo, but I wanted to come out. And I can just remember being as excited in 1985 as I was in 1974.
Well,
but I didn't know if it was exactly the same for you.
And to add to that, I've made 20 trips out here, and when I'm back in there in the first round and there's 18,000 people screaming at the top of their lungs, it makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. I'm human. I'm no different than none of you guys. I just happen to be decent calf roper. Bottom line.
He's a little different.
Let me. I want you to stay right there, Fred. Stay right there.
I feel a story coming on.
Hey, let me ask you something
Bob
real
and
quick.
Boyd are here.
Let me ask
I'd like
something real
them.
quick because this is rolling around everywhere. Everybody's talking about
Go
it.
ahead.
Okay?
Uh-oh, rumor.
I would have thought that I would have maybe agreed with him when he was talking about hanging it up until I've watched him rope since he's had the surgery. If you're qualified for all the big rodeos.
I'm tired of
Are you done?
Beaver. I'm tired.
That's good. I just want to know
My
because
kids are 9 and 12 years old. They need the father's presence in their life. And I appreciate all the applause and all that stuff. But, haven't I done enough?
No, here's what I told him the other day. Here's what I told him.
Haven't I done enough?
I guarantee
He's
you
just one man.
look,
I
here's what I
guarantee
told
you
him.
there's about 16 or 17 ropers that think, damn sure
And what I
has.
said the other day is you don't.
One other thing, real quick, not to cut you off. I got an open invitation, okay? Anybody out there that wants to load up June 1st, bring you 150,000, and let's stay going until September 30th.
30th, yeah.
Just come on, and I'll rodeo another year.
Hempstead,
See,
Texas.
That's what I said. That's all I wanted to say is this man makes the finals from June to September every year anyway. So don't, as sound as he looked, and it looks like it feels good again. It doesn't hurt again like when you had the other. There's no stopping a guy like this unless he wants to. And if he wants to, I was at the same point. Leave him alone and let him quit. Hell, he's done enough, like he said.
I want to bring two guys out here that will also
Stay
add
right
to this.
here.
Stay right here, Fred, if you will. Bob Tallman, Boyd Polhamus, announcers of announcers are here. Would you welcome them here this evening to National Finals tonight? Gentlemen. There's a guy behind you. Welcome, gentlemen.
So when I'm out back, I'm like, have they talked about Fred's book yet?
That's why we were waiting for you to get here to talk about Fred's book.
I'm
Go ahead, Boyd. Lead us
well,
right
no,
into
I
that.
know it's coming. I'm going to be the first guy to read it. So when is it?
You probably got a chapter in there.
Do I? He said, I hope I do.
Good. I hope I don't.
It's like Tallman said to me a long time ago, bad publicity is still publicity.
Spell your name right.
So when is it released? When will you release it?
Actually, I'm living the final chapter right now. And
Yeah, don't worry. Those guys live in a
I need
quasi-separate world,
earplugs
right?
over here on this side. So we're going to wrap it up after the national finals is over, and the lady Terry Powers that's helping me and my wife with it. She's been here all this week, and she's just gathering stories and talking to a few guys. And we've actually been working on this project for 2 years now. I left here in 2010 is when we started it.
Title?
Gold Buckles Don't Lie.
Okay, perfect.
Gold
That's
buckles
right.
don't lie.
I got 8 of them. Mean questions?
That's right. That's right. Y'all thought I was a smart aleck, didn't you? Yeah. You're right.
When's the first time, Bob, you saw Fred roping? Do you remember?
It was a bit longer than 20 years ago. I got a different look at this, You got your stat sheet out, and I'm full of stats, 40 years of them. And maybe it's because I've got older, but I don't think any dumber or any slower. But there's something in the last few years that I've started researching in my mind when I look at a guy, and I think of the character references that I go back in his life with him, or a lady in a barrel race, or a family, or whatever else. And remembering having a baby, 21 days old, and going back on the road, raising a child in a travel trailer, and it was didn't have a bassinet. We had a dresser where there was twin beds, and the bottom drawer was where she slept. and it was a house horse trailer because we hauled 3 horses in the back, or old Oscar the Bull in between them saddle horses. And I remember things about Fred Whitfield. He roped. He was good, and he's different. But the thing was, I watched him be real quiet when I would have been boisterous. They'd put him on edge. And they'd challenge him a different way than they'd challenge a Joe or a Roy or before that time. And his character, I always wanted to go up and go, Fred, kick his ass. Just go ahead. You want to hold your hat?
I did a few of them.
I say, we dang sure kept our foot in the ground.
And then I'd done some dumb things like step between him and Larry Sandvik one night, and I had a guy grab me and go, what are you doing? And I says, we don't all need to go to jail. And I don't need either one of my friends taking a rap for something that don't need to happen. I judge Fred Whitfield by the man he's been, the father he's been, and had to, knowing how hard it is to leave. Let me tell you something, son. Leaving your grandkids is tougher than leaving your kids.
Okay, 2 things. The first time I ever heard of Fred Whitfield, you remember Dennis Townsend. I roomed with him in college, okay? He had a match rope against some guy named Fred Whitfield. And he left me to go to this match rope and come back. He goes, I got my butt whipped. So that's the first time I ever heard of Fred Whitfield. I'll never forget, I was in college at San Marcos. The thing I admire the most about Fred, and please don't take this wrong, he don't care if you like him. Okay? He is Fred Whitfield. He's going to go be Fred Whitfield. And if you don't like him, so what? Get used to getting your butt whipped by him. You know, he's never changed ever. He's always been the same guy from the first time I saw him to the last time I saw him. If I say something, and I did it at Omaha, he didn't like, he'll look me in the eye and tell me. I'd take that 100 times a day over some guy that's like, you rock and roll, buddy, you rock and roll, and then walk away and say, hey, man, leave that subject alone. You know? So what I love about Fred is he's not out here to win friends. He's out here to win fans by his performance, and he's never failed us.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Joe B knows Fred Whitfield like I know Charlie Sampson, and you can face it. Being black, roping calves, or riding bulls in the PRCA, that has to be a lonely feeling because it's certainly different. But it's not about the color. It's about being Cowboys.
Well,
I mean, Charlie Sampson and I mean, we competed and butted heads, and I mean, and he beat me for a world title, and made me like it. And I had to take a year off to be able to come back to get one back. But and y'all did some of the
17.
same things, and it's a different deal. And not only and you never really worried about anything other than letting your performance speak for you. And I've just always been impressed.
I picked my battles. I honestly did. And that's why I'm writing this book. There's lots of things that I never said anything about, and I just logged it away. And, I mean, it's going to all come out. I've run across a lot of good people. I've run across some people that I didn't care much for, and that's just as honest as I can be. 18 years old. 18 years old when you are 19 you moved in with me? Let me tell you something. You can judge his character by however you want to. But if you know this guy, he's one of the best guys you'll ever be around. He might sometimes not hit on the topic that you want him to. Sometimes he would tell you something you didn't want to hear. Sometimes he would take things out of proportion. But every day and every night when we sat down, wherever we were at, when we got back to my house out of the practice pen, when we got to the airport, if one of us had more money than the other, he lived with me for about 2 years. And this is probably one of the best guys day in and day out that I've ever known. We've been through relationships together. We've been through fights together. We've been through, I died. I went through I overdosed in 1991, and this man right here was the one that was with me and stayed with me, flew home with me, never judged me because we don't judge each other. We've been friends.
I've been through some tragedies in my life where this is one of the guys that called me that got me through the deal. What you don't understand is he's just Fred Whitfield, the same guy that I met when he was 15 years old, and the same guy is sitting in this stands or on this stage tonight. You won't meet a better guy. You won't meet a better person. You won't meet a more fiercer competitor in your life. So when he walks away from this sport, we're losing one of the greatest of all times.
It's genuine.
Yeah, now it's time for a round of applause. That was as well said as it can be said.
I want to ask the people something in the house tonight, and out there on TV. What is it, YouTube or whatever they're watching? So, TubeU. You got to understand something. When Fred Whitfield smiles, the lights come on in the world. And when Fred Whitfield glares at you, you know you have stepped over the line. And I have had him glare at me a couple of times and smile at me a lot. But I want to ask y'all, how many in the house tonight have ever had a broken leg? Seriously broken? Okay, a few of you. I watched this man in a...
Clayton Savage had 3 times.
Yeah, well, he rides bulls. He's supposed to.
Oh.
I watched this man and put him in a freeze cast. Rope for $100,000. Put him in a freeze cast. Take it out. Just in time to keep that ice and that liquid nitrogen as cold as they can. Take it out just in time to get him ready to get his foot in the stirrup. And it wouldn't let nobody help him get on. Get on, take it off, go rope, and come back. Now, they say you can block out pain. This is the difference between a champion and a chumpion, because you can fake your way through some of that stuff. But when physical pain overcomes you, you fail. That's all there is to it. You fail. I watched him do that. I watched him do other things. He ain't tough. He's solid. And there's a difference between being tough and stupid and tough and put yourself to the application, not thinking I'm going to get back on my horse after a rap and a hooey and get out of it. That's one story in 10 or 15 that we've watched in the last 20 years. I don't know what this book's going to be like, but y'all better be getting ready if you can buy them in advance online. And it's going to be something you're going to want to share with your children, because I've watched him and Cassie raise those kids. And it ain't been easy. And they're beautiful, but they're beautiful inside before they're beautiful outside. And he said it a minute ago. I choked back there. They need their dad.
They really honestly do, and I appreciate all the kind words y'all are saying. Man, if it was that easy, I'd rodeo till I was 60. But it's not. My body's starting to tell me that it's time to slow down, and I think I'm going to listen. I've never been a guy that just wanted to be another face in the crowd, and that's not taking anything away from anybody that's ever graced a rodeo arena. I'd like to go out making the national finals, having a decent showing. And, I'm not going to disappear from rodeo. I'm going to surface here and there and go to a few rodeos, but I just want to be home and live a normal life, so to speak. I want to go on vacation next summer with my wife and kids, and they've been the last 3 years without me, and I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to go make the finals. And I just want to take a step back and just be a dad.
Well,
period.
I wanted to, Fred, for everybody that's here this evening, and our time is out here, but for all of us collectively as the audience, and I put myself in that place, Fred, I just want to, for all of us, thank you. Thank you for 20 years and the opportunity for these guys. This couldn't have worked out better for them to pay off to you publicly, and I appreciate that. But for all of us, thank you very much.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Stay right there if you will, guys. What a good crowd you are. Folks standing up out there for Fred Whitfield. Yes, that's just... he deserves it. Fred Whitfield. For those of you that are here this evening, stay with us. For those of you that are watching by television, we appreciate you joining us on National Finals tonight. We will be back here again tomorrow night. Everybody here, stay here. We got great prizes to give away. To those out there, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
It's what I do. Let's ride.
Thank you for watching and attending the show. We hope you enjoyed the presentation of National Finals tonight at the Gold Coast, where all the Cowboys go after the rodeo. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, same time, same place. This has been a presentation of Boyd Gaming. The fun isn't over yet. We invite you to head upstairs for Gary LeFew's legendary Buck and Ball. Live music from the Texas Jam Band featuring members of George Strait's Ace in the Hole Band and local favorite Scotty Alexander. Beer and drink specials, and best of all, no cover charge. We're gonna dance and party till the cows come home at the Buck and Ball.
Rodeo is what I do. If I hang on tight, I make a buck or two. Is what I do. Is what I do. Is what I do.